Look at this meme. Habibi coming to Dubai. You ever hear the Dubai porta potty?
I have. Never been offered, but whatever.
We can change that. Sorry, Mom. Don't. My mom has a history of looking at Urban Dictionary terms after finding out her son went on a show called F-Boy Island, so let's not do that, Mom. Thank you. Jordan, do not edit that in here either.
We're here. Hi, welcome.
This Week in Money.
Welcome back to This Week in Money.
Silicon Valley Bank has collapsed in the second largest bank failure in the US.
I think when you have these Silicon Valley and tech types just taking a bunch of risks, then they go out there on the internet, they start typing in all caps, causing contagion, then they want a bailout. When normally they're tweeting about libertarian principles, and then when they need it to help them, they're all about the government. I just find it interesting, and I personally do not think that we should have done a bailout.
It wasn't technically a bailout. I mean, come on. It's like you deposit your paycheck
Let them
in
fail.
Chase,
Let them fail.
and then they go dump that money into awful investments. Why should that be my fault? All I want is a safe place to keep my money.
It should be your fault if you put your money in a bank called Silicon Valley Bank. It just sounds like a made up, crap. No.
But what about JP Morgan Chase? He's...
Big opportunity for our boy Jamie.
That's it. Jamie Dimon.
He's going to be buying up everything. Maybe Credit Suisse. Who knows? Think about what's going on with them. Just the contagion is spreading.
Look, I just got to say that as somebody who's got a Chase bank account, when you go to deposit your money in the bank, you should have assurance that that money's going to be there. And I'm actually excited about the outcome here. I think that it makes sense that the government stepped in and only helped the depositors, all the investors, management, which, by the way, management sold over $150 million worth of the stock over the last year or two, which is wild just to think about how a lot of those insiders probably knew what was going on.
Let me just ask a question. So if I have over $250,000 in Silicon Valley Bank and I don't have a cash management system in place for my startup, then why should I be bailed out by the government?
Look, that money's there. It's meant to be held. It's like, you gotta it's a
We're
checking
incentivizing
account.
Bad behavior. This is just going to keep happening.
What do you think, Serena?
Let's hear it, Serena.
My nerd quant friend sent me something. He said, bring up this policy change in 2018 that basically allowed them to fuck around with money without reporting stress testing results to the government.
It sounds like he had the ear of Trump and fought off some proposed regulation about being able to stress test banks that had under $250 billion under management. So,
Slay.
Sounds like
Does that slay, Serena?
Slay or nay? What do you guys think?
I say nay on this one. I like that. Slay or nay. Let's do it.
slay. Ooh, Credit Suisse. One of our colleagues, former employers over here, ignites a global market rout as banking fears return. Shares of Credit Suisse are down over 30% today after a really tough last year or two. And it came out that Saudi Arabia, who is the bank's largest investor, said, you know what? We're not going to help you with any more new capital. So what does this mean for the banking sector? Are we going to get a wide contagion here? Is this another Lehman moment? What's happening, Mark?
So to start off, Brian, having spent 2 summers at Credit Suisse, Zurich's finest bank, in 2016 and 2017 in the healthcare group, I could have told you this was going to happen when I walked into Addition across the street and saw the CEO at the time, Tijan, with 2 escorts. So the lack of controls have been there in place, demonstrated by what I just said, as well as my hiring. Look, the debt that they have coming due in August, that is selling for less than 50% right now. The systemic contagion is going across the board with everyone trying to remove their counterparty risks. Unlike SVB, Credit Suisse is a globally important bank, Serena. So what do we think about that? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Is this going to send us into a recession?
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. If he had been with 1 escort, would that have been different?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the 2.
It's being discreet about it in the middle of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be discreet.
At
Across the
night,
street from
all
work,
things go.
Baccarat hotel lobby, do your thing. But it's all about discretion.
Influencers are fleeing New York City in droves. Content creators are leaving New York City for calmer lifestyles, potentially starting a trend. Influencers Paige Lorenz, Victoria Paris.
Paige.
Paige, you know Paige?
Ah.
Oh, All right. Well.
She might come by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see you there. The romanticized version of New York City depicted by influencers doesn't necessarily match the true experience of living in the big city. Serena, how do you feel about influencers fleeing the city?
I'm not a fan. I don't think you should just come here for a few years to do some like get ready with me's and then go.
Hey, so a lot of you guys have been wondering about my hair routine. That's basically like...
Yeah, I'm
that's
wondering what's going on.
Looks good, right? Please tell me it looks good. Please.
If I ever move to the suburbs, at least in my 20s, if I move like soon, just know I've lost it.
Is that what do you call that instrument that's the triangle that you play? Is that what those are, the earrings?
Triangle?
I would call this an earring.
Can you play it in music though? I think you can.
Oh, a triangle?
Like, yeah, basically.
Doesn't sound
I
right.
played the, what do you call that thing? The clarinet in band growing up.
You were in band?
Well, it was Catholic school, we had to.
Oh, that's humiliating.
I know. I wasn't good at it, dude. Learning the notes and stuff, it's like, this is a B-. Like, I don't know.
What are you good at?
Hinge.
Speaking of
And
Hinge,
doing my hair.
speaking of Hinge, you actually went on a date with a New York City influencer recently. How did that go?
I am the infamous date number 32 on the Life of Moran's profile on Instagram, so you can go check out the review, but it went very well.
I was asked on a date by a CEO of an investor relations firm who saw my story in Bloomberg. He also has a bit of a public persona, so I really didn't know what to expect.
We're going out again tonight, Brian.
Yeah? What are you guys doing?
We're gonna be doing a scavenger hunt for her dog.
What does that entail?
Are you just trying to find her dog?
No, she's bringing the dog, and I got like some toys and stuff.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you
I went to the
full
dog
into
store.
this. Man.
Where'd you go, the Transit Museum?
I'm not telling you right now.
Daylight savings time may become permanent. It's not looking
Really?
too hopeful, but Marco Rubio is reintroducing a bill.
Lil Marco.
that would make it possible.
I feel great. Look, the bill, it was introduced last year in the Senate, approved, and then in the House, they never even voted for it. Look, I think this whole idea that it was first started by Benjamin, can we start this again? What's his name? Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, let's start it again.
Keep that in.
No. Daylight savings, it was actually started by Thomas.
Who? What? Thomas what? Jefferson?
No, dude, it was Benjamin Franklin. Serena, the idea of daylight savings time was actually first posited by Thomas Jefferson and Harriet Tubman, believe it or not.
I believe it.
And they did it as a joke, and now it's a real thing since a small town in Ottawa first started in 1908, later followed by Germany and Austria in 1916.
How much of this was just made up?
25-ish%. But like it did start in 1908 in a small town in Ottawa.
How do you know this?
Yeah.
I have ADHD and I like Wikipedia.
All right.
Okay. But look, this bill, it gets introduced in the Senate, passed last year. They don't vote on it in the House because the big sleep agenda does not want us to do this. Who doesn't want an extra hour of daylight, right? It lowers seasonal depression. It decreases our dependence on electricity because the lights don't need to be on, and I like it.
61% of respondents in a 2020 poll were in favor to stop daylight
Who
savings
responds
time.
to these polls, though?
Right? I'm always curious about that. But then I was curious, like, who took the other side of this? Like, who doesn't want
Big
this
sleep.
to happen?
Big sleep.
sleep,
Big
which are
sleep.
the sleep medicine doctors.
Why don't they want it?
They got to keep passing
It's
those
like
pills
Casper
down.
matters in that eight.
I hate sleep people though.
I started
People
getting
who are
these
like, oh, it
ads.
has to be
Yeah,
dark.
it's like, how much does your life suck that you're focused on sleeping?
Who cares?
Here's my sleep stack. Adderall when I wake up, 4 hours of sleep during the week, boom, ready to go. I don't give a shit.
The funny thing is that I don't think any of that is made up.
That part's.
I see the times you tweet, and it
I'm
makes
active.
me worry about you.
I'm active.
Former Goldman banker gets 10 years in prison for his role in the 1MDB scandal. Roger Ng was convicted of bribery and money laundering charges. He was part of the scandal, which involved looting over $4 billion from the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund and paying out over $1.6 billion to bribes to the government.
My favorite thing about it, there's this guy, Tim Leissner, who's also a Goldman banker in it, and he literally proposed to a woman that he met next to him on a flight one time. That's like the only thing that sticks out about this whole saga. And the fact that Jolo partied with Paris Hilton and no one knows if they fucked or not. But just goes to show you, any amount of money.
What's crazy about proposing to a woman you met on a plane?
In the same flight?
What?
Like, yeah.
He was
On
feeling
the
it.
plane?
Yeah.
He found love at first sight.
I know. I love that though. Like
That's
I
it.
want to do
What,
that.
he
I
had
kinda-
a ring ready?
No. I think he got it after the fact. But like he was just in the moment, you know? It's all about living in the moment.
And that is another episode of This Week in Money. Thank you very much.
This Week in Money. That's it.
Get the fuck.
One time I had to go to this week at West Point thing because I was thinking about going there. Glad I didn't. And I did that when like a general was talking. Oh, I've never laughed so hard in my life. No one else laughed, but I laughed.
How are you still a fucking human?